Now on Sunrise and streaming on crossroadstoday.com. As family and friends lay Lisbeth Medina to rest, new details emerging about her accused killer. We'll tell you what we're learning this morning. And the Victoria County Sheriff's Office says someone burglarized the county's Precinct 4 barn earlier this month. They're now asking for your help in tracking the suspect down. Turning now to the defamation case against Rudy Giuliani. Jury deliberations continue today after the former New York mayor declined to testify at the trial yesterday. That story out of Washington.
Take a look on the outside. Watching some rain showers near the coastal zones this morning, moving toward Matagorda Bay as we speak, and to the parts of Matagorda County and Kowloon County. More rain to come, that's a yes. We'll give you the details coming up in your forecast.
Well, the Roll Tide trying to bring home a title. I'll have that in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Carolina Astrain.
I'm Trey Manning.
And today it's the 15th day of December 2023. It's almost 6:31 on our
Just
Friday
about.
morning. And it's National Tea Day.
Tea Day, huh?
What's your favorite kind of tea?
Two kinds. If I'm not feeling well, it's hot tea. If I'm feeling good, it's iced tea.
Trey, I really like peppermint tea.
That's good, that's good.
It's good for the digestive.
Nice with some green tea,
Ooh, a
that's
nice
good too.
Ginger tea, add some spice
Oh yeah,
in it.
very nice.
All right, Trey, well, what's the tea with the weather today?
Let's see, we have let's see the weather's with the tea because it's Trey bringing you the weather this morning. And so, and also tea could be thunder as well coming up, especially on the coast this morning, just south of Matagorda Bay, seeing some storms headed toward that location there. So if you're in Port O'Connor and near Palacios, you'll get some rainfall very shortly in that area. This is forerunner of things to come. Kind of scattered, isolated throughout the majority of the day today, but then it'll be increasing in number as we head toward the evening hours as the front gets closer to us and moves on through, which will cool down temperatures and create a line of storms coming up tonight, well up to sunset. Give us some brief heavy rainfall, and after that, they'll be clearing out fairly nicely. More on that later on. Give you the info on that. Currently in the 50s and 60s along the immediate coast, especially a little bit warmer. The 60s down there along those areas near Cedar up to Port O'Connor. And 73 degrees was the high yesterday, low 53 degrees. These will be changing in a pretty big way. This one here, the low and the high temperature, closer to our normals of 68 and 45. And record high 85 way back in the day, of course. 24 was a record low on this date. Not anywhere near that, thankfully. We're not getting that cold. But you'll definitely notice the feeling of coolness in the air coming up by your Saturday. Ahead of that, the frontal zone moving on through with good thunderstorm chances. We're still under normal for rainfall. We need to catch up on that. Probably ending the year more than likely in a negative with the rainfall amounts under normal. But we're catching up on some of the rainfall as the storms move on through. No severe weather expected, but it's a good risk of thunderstorms as that frontal boundary makes its way on through coming up in the overnight tonight. What's the exact timing on that? I got it for you later on in the full forecast to come. Carolina?
Thank you, Trey. New details emerging about the suspect accused of killing a 16-year-old Edna cheerleader. 25 News Now learned the suspect, Rafael Romero, had a prior conviction for a home burglary that dates back to September 2022. We learned that information from our sources at Lavaca County today. Authorities reportedly arrested Romero for the crime in October of that year. The new details come as family and friends of Lisbeth Medina laid her to rest Wednesday at Grand Island, Nebraska. The family held her funeral services at St. Mary's Cathedral. Medina's mother found her stabbed to death in the bathroom of their Edna home last Tuesday. Authorities arrested Romero 5 days later at a mobile home park just outside the Schulenburg city limits. Romero faces capital murder charges and could receive the death penalty if convicted. Video surveillance captured a man burglarizing Victoria County's Precinct 4 barn, and now the sheriff's office needs your help in taking the suspect down. Authorities say the burglary happened on December 6th. The suspect stole tools, a welding machine, and a sign machine. Then he took off in a 4-door full-size pickup truck with a toolbox. Authorities want your help. If you can identify him, call Victoria Crime Stoppers at 361-572-4200. A repeat offender heading back to state prison after a Victoria County jury found him guilty of cocaine possession. In September of 2020, authorities found 51-year-old William Makachek in possession of more than 4 grams of cocaine during a traffic stop. Bakacek already received a prison sentence for felony DWI in 2015 after getting arrested for DWI at least 5 other times. A jury handed down the maximum sentence of 20 years in state prison. Rudy Giuliani arrived in court Thursday in Washington, D.C. He arrived but did not take the stand to testify in his case. Being the only witness listed for the defense, the trial moved to closing arguments. Earlier this year, the judge in the case ruled Giuliani did defame 2 Georgia poll workers, Ruby Freeman and her daughter, Wandrea Shea Moss. They sued, claiming Giuliani's repeated and baseless claims that they were manipulating votes during the 2020 elections, upended their lives, even leading to death threats. The jury in the case now has to decide how much money Giuliani will have to pay Freeman and Moss in damages. During a wide-ranging press conference yesterday, Russian President Vladimir Putin says he's open to a prisoner swap with the U.S., but added as long as the U.S. agrees to terms suitable for Russia. The Russian leader made the comment when he was asked about the possibility of a prisoner swap involving Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich and U.S. Marine veteran Paul Whelan. Putin says he hoped an agreement would be reached, but that the U.S. had to listen to Russia's conditions. That leads us to your viewer poll. You can scan the QR code right there on your screen to take part. We ask you, should the United States consider a prisoner swap with Russia? Okay, let's take a look. 26% of you say yes, and 74% of you say no. Thank you for taking part in our viewer poll. And remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. The time is now 6:36 on our Friday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up on 25 News Now Sunrise. Victoria firefighters responded to a call at a local middle school.
European authorities arresting several suspects accused of plotting anti-Jewish attacks. I'm ABC's Justin Finch with more on that and what the U.S. is now pressing Israel to do next in its war with Hamas.
And one more time, let's take a look at the bus stop forecast. 55 degrees at the bus stop this morning. You're waiting for the bus to pick you up. Carry an umbrella with you, be a good idea, and keep it throughout the day because the thunderstorm chances will continue throughout the afternoon. By 3 o'clock, 70 degrees or so in the Crossroads area. What about your weekend forecast? Big changes coming up, especially in temperatures. We'll take a look coming up in your forecast.
My favorite holiday song is Jingle Bell, Jingle Bell.
1, 2, 3. Feliz Navidad. Ba, 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 ba. Santa baby, come put a sable under the tree for me.
Oh yeah, last Christmas I gave you my heart.
And so I was singing, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Masters in this hall.
Masters in this hall, hear me today. Something, something, something.
I think I'm gonna have to go with Silent Night, honestly. That's a classic. Silent Night.
Always cry.
Holy night. That's too good.
Because my favorite Christmas song is the one where it's like, chestnuts roasting by an open fire. But the one with Justin Bieber.
From all of us here at 25 News Now, happy holidays.
And good morning once again. Let's take a look at the current satellite radar across the state of Texas. Thunderstorms out west, Dallas-Fort Worth, down to about San Angelo, Abilene area, and points to the south of there near Del Rio. Moisture pooling ahead of the frontal zone. This front out of West Texas will be in our neighborhood coming up tonight, well after sunset. A lot of moisture to work with, so it'll give us a good rain chance along the frontal boundary. Let's put the map into motion here, the future tracker, and follow the front. It makes its way toward the South Texas area, which is we'll be doing later on today. Notice by the time we get to the evening and the overnight, frontal zone right on the coast, pretty much, pushing thunderstorms to the east of our area by then. It looks like we'll be in Victoria by 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock or so, right around that time frame, with the main squall line moving on through. No severe weather anticipated, thankfully, but there'll be some brief heavy rainfall, so be watchful of that if you're out and about during that time. High pressure will build in from the west. Northerly winds will take hold after the front moves on through, and the storms move through as well, giving us cooler and drier conditions coming up for next week. And this weekend, nice cool temperatures, more of a seasonal feel to the atmosphere coming up in our neighborhood, coming up by Friday night into Saturday. We have to get through the thunderstorms first to get to that point. We'll give you the details coming up in the full forecast to come. 7-day outlook. Carolina?
Thank you, Trey. An area team battled it out for the state championship at Jerry World in Arlington. Sports reporter Zach Brown will tell us if Tidehaven came out victorious in the end.
With your 25 Sports Now, I'm Zach Brown. Well, not going to waste any time getting to it. The Tidehaven Tigers do fall in the state championship game 30-14 to the reigning state champion Gunter Tigers. Now, Tidehaven has absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. First of all, I'll give a big round of applause to the fans that traveled about 5+ hours just to watch these guys play. They were part of our live shot. These guys have been fantastic with sending in footage all week. Now, in the game, Tidehaven was actually able to strike first. Joseph Dodds was down at the 1. Penalties knocked him back, but Cade Russell was able to hit Joseph Dodds in the back of the end zone to get the Tigers on the board first at 7-0. Now, trouble did strike for Tidehaven. Gunter rattled off 17 consecutive points, but Joseph Dodds once again, a 60+ yard touchdown run, had them within striking distance going into halftime. Now, halftime was when they really ran into trouble. Penalties, drop balls led directly to points for Gunter, who scored 30. That was their lowest total on the year, but Tidehaven will remember those mistakes that they made. But the guys even said after the game, we have absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. Not many people get the opportunity to make it this far. But congrats to everyone on a fantastic season. That will do it for our football coverage 2023 version. Zach Brown, 25 News Now Sports.
Thank you, Zach. All right, we want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today. Plus, you can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. Turning overseas to Europe, where authorities have announced the arrest of 7 people in connection to terrorism plots against Jewish institutions. German prosecutors say at least 4 suspects are members of Hamas.
This morning, Europe on alert. Denmark's prime minister calling the situation extremely serious after the arrest of 3 people in her country accused of plotting terrorist attacks against Jewish people and Jewish institutions. In Germany, 3 more suspects now in custody and another detained in the Netherlands. German prosecutors saying all 4 are believed to be Hamas members and were arrested under suspicion of plotting anti-Jewish attacks. Hamas denying those suspects are connected to the militant group. European authorities saying they're now staying hyper-vigilant as the Israel-Hamas war stokes tensions. FBI Director Christopher Wray saying the U.S. is at its highest threat level since before 9/11.
We're working around the clock to identify and disrupt potential attacks by those inspired by Hamas's horrific terrorist attacks in Israel.
Back in Tel Aviv, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu meeting with U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan.
Thank you for your support.
As the death toll across Gaza grows, the White House says Sullivan is urging Israel to pursue what it calls a lower intensity operation and scale back its most intense fighting. A U.S. official confirming a New York Times report saying a lower intensity operation may involve the use of smaller groups of elite Israeli forces that would carry out more precise missions to find and kill Hamas leaders, rescue hostages, and destroy tunnels.
I want them to be focused on how to save civilian lives, not stop going after Hamas, but be more careful.
The Senate now planning to reconvene Monday to take up the president's defense funding request, which includes Israel and Ukraine aid, and to vote on it next week. Talk stalled over Republican demands to include tighter border policy. The chamber was to start its holiday break today. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
Around 3:45 yesterday, Victoria firefighters responded to a fire call at Patty Wilder Middle School. The Victoria Fire Department says there was a light haze in the building, and they found an electrical HVAC motor went out in one of the classrooms. A few students say they were rushed out of the building and they heard smoke alarms go off. School let out at 3:45. The time is now 6:45 on your Friday morning. Still to come, a powerful activist investor escalating his battle over the future of Disney. Okay, it's time to celebrate some birthdays. Happy 18th birthday to Christiana. Christiana, happy birthday. Enjoy your big day to the fullest.
And happy birthday to Zakari. Happy 22nd birthday to our beautiful daughter. May God bless you with many more. Love from Mom, Raymond, Nana, Pawpaw, Micah, and family. We love you.
And musician and Licorice Pizza star Alana Haim with a birthday today. The guitarist for the band, Haim, is 32.
All right, to see a birthday wish live on 25 News on Sunrise, come to crossroadstoday.com. Click on More on Home. You'll see the KVU. Submit your birthday.
All right, Trey, the time is 6:46 on our Friday morning. Happy birthday if you're celebrating one today.
Exactly. We'll be right back. Good morning, good morning. Take a look at the temperatures currently in the 50s and 60s along the coast, especially in the 60s, 57 degrees in Victoria and 50s to the north. Average temperature you see around the region about 60 degrees overall, and rising a little bit more than that, maybe about 70 or so this afternoon will be the daytime high. Ahead of the front, we'll move through in the overnight tonight, giving us a good round of thunderstorm chances, and cooler temperatures behind the front. So you have to wait till the thunderstorm leaves before the storms move on out and the cool air moves in behind the frontal boundary. And not too much happening today, kind of scattered here and there throughout the daytime hours of showers and thunderstorms. Nothing too widespread, nothing heavy anticipated. Tonight after sunset, here come the front. That'll give us a better chances of storms along the frontal boundary itself. And plan my day starting off the 50s there in Cuero, 68 or so by the 12 noon hour, with high today about 60 degrees or so. And they're about 70 actually. And at 7 a.m. in Port Lavaca, 58 degrees where we are right now. And 12 noon, 68 degrees, that should be a daytime high. In the afternoon with scattered rain showers and storms. The later you go in the day, the better the chances will be. Extended forecast for us. Thunderstorms tonight, some of them briefly heavy, then they move on out and it cools down nice next week with highs in the 60s with plentiful sunshine.
A powerful activist investor escalating his battle over the future of Disney. Tran Fund Management is in a long, simmering feud with Disney CEO Bob Iger and the company's management to gain 2 seats on Disney's board. Thursday, the firm said it would nominate its founder, Nelson Peltz, and former Disney CFO Jay Rasulo to sit on the board. This comes after Tran in November launched a new bid for seats on Disney board, a move the entertainment giant turned down. Reigniting its battle from earlier this year, Disney over the past year has struggled with a surprising number of flops, declining viewership for movies and TV, along with massive losses in its streaming business. Disney pushed back in the past, but this time said it would review the proposal. Tran expects the next annual meeting to take place in the spring. HBO's hit comedy series Curb Your Enthusiasm coming to an end. The show's streaming home Max says the 12th and final season will begin airing on February 4th. There will be 10 episodes with the series finale airing on April 7th. It'll cap a run for that series that debuted in 2000. In a statement, creator Larry David says he can now go back to being the kind of person he was before he, quote, got derailed by portraying this malignant character. He went on to say, quote, Larry David, I bid you farewell. Along with David, Cheryl Hines, Jeff Garlin, Richard Lewis, and Ted Danson are all set to star in the final season. Curb Your Enthusiasm won 2 Emmys and 1 Golden Globe Award. Still to come on Sunrise News to Know Before You Go. The race for the District 30 seat heats up with more candidate filings. 4 people are filed to run for the District 30 state representative seat, including Brett Baldwin, who's a development consultant and former VISD board member. Victoria Mayor and mechanical contractor Jeff Bachnight also in the race. And Veteran Service Officer Vanessa Hicks Calloway makes a second attempt for the state representative seat. Her first run came during a primary election. Former and retired Jackson County Sheriff A.J. Louderback also wants to serve District 30. All this comes after Representative Jeannie Morrison stated she is not seeking re-election after holding the District 30 seat since 1999. The Republican primary is Tuesday, March the 5th. An interstate shut down after a small plane crashed in North Carolina on Thursday. The FAA says a single-engine Diamond DA040 crashed shortly after 8 p.m. on Interstate 26 near Asheville Regional Airport. 2 people were reportedly on board during the crash. A spokesperson with the airport said the air tower was notified by the incoming plane that assistance may be required. The incident snarled traffic for hours. All westbound lanes on the interstate at exit 40 have closed, as well as some eastbound lanes. The Buncombe County Sheriff's Office says multiple people were taken to the hospital. There's no word on their conditions, and the interstate is expected to reopen today by 7 a.m. The house where someone fatally stabbed 4 University of Idaho students more than a year ago is set to be demolished later this month. In February, the university in Moscow and western Idaho announced plans to destroy the structure. Xana Kernodle, Ethan Chapin, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Gonzalez were killed in the off-campus home in November 2022. The owner of the home donated it to the university following the killings. After defense attorneys for murder suspect Bryan Kohberger are able to take photographs and gather other information, demolition is expected to begin on December 28th. The court has not yet set a trial date for Kohberger. An Atlanta woman and former Facebook employee pled guilty to stealing more than $4 million while she was an executive at the company. Starting in 2017 through 2021, Barbara Furlow Smiles worked as a lead strategist at Facebook, now known as Meta. The U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Georgia says Furlow Smiles fraudulently used Facebook funds to live a lavish lifestyle in California and Georgia. And the money was used on things like hairstylists, babysitters, and $18,000 went toward preschool tuition. Furlow Smiles would link her company credit cards to PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App, then use those cards to pay others for services never performed. The scheme also included associates, family, and friends. Her sentencing is scheduled for March 19th. Texas's criminal justice system, from police officers to prosecutors, is ill-equipped to grapple with hate crimes year after year. Most Texas police departments report 0 hate crimes. Read the story by the Texas Tribune on our website, crossroadstoday.com. And we want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. Just search on your Amazon Fire TV, Roku, or Apple TV, or even Android TV for Crossroads Today Plus. And now we turn to Trey for a look at our forecast. Trey, a little bit of rain?
A little bit of rain, then a whole lot of rain, but later on today, so keep that in mind as you're making your plans today. Quail, starting off in the 50s with cloudy skies all day long. Scattered rain showers and thunderstorms here and there, especially tonight about 11 o'clock or so as the front moves through. Near 70 degrees with a high in Port Lavaca with rain shower chances and thunderstorm chances tonight. As the front moves through early on Friday, late on Friday night, early on Saturday morning, we cool down. Nice and sunny conditions next week. Highs in the 60s, lows in the 40s. Be careful out there coming up for you overnight tonight as the storms move through. Some briefly heavy rain is in the forecast, so be safe out there. After that, we're smooth sailing into next week. Make it a great weekend, and of course, happy Friday. Carolina?
All right, Trey, thank you so much, and thank you for joining us. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today, and join us tonight for 25 News Now at 5, 6, and 10.